The story of the modern electric car begins, improbably, with a sports car. Begins not with Elon Musk, but with two engineers, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning. Back in 2003, they founded Tesla Motors with a simple, radical insight. The problem with electric cars wasn't the technology, it was the marketing. Past attempts, like GM's EV1, were seen as slow, boring compliance vehicles. To shatter that perception, the first car had to be something people desired. It had to be a high-performance sports car that made electric power aspirational. That vision caught the attention of a certain investor. When Elon Musk led the Series A funding round in 2004, he didn't just write a check. He laid out the now famous secret master plan. Step 1, build a high-end sports car to prove EVs could be better. Step 2, use that credibility and revenue to build a more affordable, medium-volume sedan. Step 3, use that to create a truly mass-market car. The Roadster was the all-important step 1, the proof of concept for a revolution. To make it real, Tesla turned to a master of lightweight handling, Lotus. They based their car on the Elise chassis, but calling it a conversion is a massive understatement. By the end, only about 7% of parts were shared. This wasn't just a different engine, it was an almost complete reinvention. Then came development hell. The car's immense, instant torque was so brutal it kept destroying the planned 2-speed transmission. For over 18 months, this single problem pushed Tesla to the brink of bankruptcy. The solution was a moment of radical, desperate simplicity. Under new leadership, they scrapped the complex gearbox entirely. They designed a robust, single-speed fixed-gear transmission instead. It was the engineering equivalent of cutting the Gordian knot. With that crisis solved, Tesla unveiled the prototype to the world in the summer of 2006, opening pre-orders for a $100,000 Founder Series. And when the first production car finally reached customers in 2008, the numbers spoke for themselves. 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, and a jaw-dropping EPA-rated 244 miles of range. It wasn't just fast for an electric car, it was faster than most supercars of its day. But building it was a painful, expensive process at the Lotus factory in England, and corporate turmoil raged back in California. Eberhard was out, CEOs came and went, and the 2008 financial crisis hit. In October of that desperate year, Elon Musk took over as CEO. He secured last-minute financing, saved the company from collapse, and became the relentless force focused on perfecting the Roadster. And perfect it they did. The car evolved through clear generations. The early 1.5 models worked out the kinks. The 2 brought major upgrades and a fierce sport package. And the final 2.5 version in 2010 was the refined masterpiece, with a new, aggressive front end and a completely revamped interior. In the end, Tesla sold about 2,450 Roadsters across 31 countries, but its true impact wasn't just in sales, it was cultural. It shattered the golf cart stereotype forever. It validated the lithium-ion battery pack architecture that would become Tesla's foundation. The revenue, and more importantly, the credibility it generated directly funded the development of the Model S. It created the Tesla mystique. Yet the Roadster's story didn't end in 2012. At a 2017 event, after unveiling the semi-truck, Elon Musk delivered a stunning surprise, a next-generation Roadster. The promised specs sounded like science fiction: 0 to 60 in 1.9 seconds, a top speed over 250 miles per hour, and a 620-mile range. And then, he added a mythic layer, an optional SpaceX package with cold air thrusters to boost performance. Like its predecessor, this new Roadster has faced delays, becoming its own kind of legend, a tantalizing promise of the future. And in a fitting tribute to the original spirit, in 2018, Elon Musk launched his own 2008 Roadster, with a spacesuited Starman dummy at the wheel, into a million-year orbit around the Sun, aboard a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket. It became the most famous car in history, a symbol of boundless ambition. So today, the Tesla Roadster exists in 2 forms. It's the venerated classic, the revolutionary relic that sparked it all: imperfect, expensive, but utterly necessary. And it's the mythical successor, still on the horizon, promising to once again redraw the boundaries of what a car can be. Its history is a testament to the world-changing power of a bold, brilliant, and beautiful first step. Beyond the timeline, the story of the Tesla Roadster is a tapestry woven from engineering brilliance, corporate chaos, and a cultural shockwave that still ripples through the auto industry today. Let's have a look at the engineering breakthroughs. The Roadster was never just an electric Lotus Elise. It was a complete reinvention. Its secret sauce was the battery pack, a move the industry considered insane. While everyone else used large, bulky cells, Tesla gambled on 6,831 small, off-the-shelf laptop batteries. The true genius, however, was the battery management system, a digital brain that could babysit each of the nearly 7,000 cells, preventing disaster. They sealed this energy storage system in a liquid-cooled structural pack mounted low in the chassis, creating a handling advantage no gas car could match. Then came the powertrain. Its AC induction motor, adapted from industrial tech, could spin to an incredible 14,000 RPM and deliver all of its torque the instant you touched the pedal, creating that signature EV punch. But it almost killed the project. The motor's instant torque was so brutal it shredded the original two-speed gearbox. In a moment of desperate brilliance, engineers scrapped it for a simple, rugged single-speed gear reducer. Sometimes, the best innovation is radical simplification. And while it wore the silhouette of a Lotus, sharing only about 6% of parts, the transformation was total. The battery was so much larger than a gas tank that Lotus had to stretch the aluminum chassis by over a foot. They cloaked it in new carbon fiber and built an entirely new nervous system of wiring and software from the ground up. This technical miracle was born amidst a Silicon Valley-style civil war. Founder Martin Eberhard was ousted, leading to a bitter public feud over who was the true founder. Financially, things were even darker. By late 2008, it cost Tesla over $140,000 to build a car they sold for $109,000. The company was weeks, maybe hours, from bankruptcy. On Christmas Eve, Elon Musk closed a desperate $40 million funding round, fired a quarter of the staff, and took over as CEO. He later said he invested his last personal $20 million, leaving him to borrow money for rent. These were the darkest days. Yet from that crucible, the Roadster evolved. The early 1.5 models had their teething pains, but the 2.0 version brought a fierce sport package and something magical, a software update that unlocked an extra 30 miles of range overnight, a glimpse of the digital car's potential. The final 2.5 model got a sleek new face and a desperately needed interior revolution. And years after production ended, Tesla offered a 3 upgrade with a new battery, proving these cars could get better with age, one even achieving a verified 400-mile drive from San Francisco to LA. The cultural impact was immediate and profound. When Top Gear *S Jeremy Clarkson opened a segment calling it a game changer, the entire automotive world sat up. Early adopters like Leonardo DiCaprio and Matt Damon injected Hollywood glamour. More importantly, executives at Nissan, GM, and BMW have admitted that driving a Roadster was the aha moment that convinced them to build the Leaf, the Volt, and the i3. It created a new startup playbook. Enter the market with a high-margin halo car, a template followed by Rivian and Lucid. And then Tesla promised to do it all over again. In 2017, they announced a new Roadster with specs that read like science fiction: tri-motor all-wheel drive, a 200 kWh battery, and an optional SpaceX package with rocket thrusters for stability and mind-bending acceleration. But this sequel has become its own legend through delays. Tesla collected full $250,000 payments for a Founders Series that remains undelivered, and as of 2024, the project is on hold, a mythical carrot for Tesla's future. Today, the original Roadster's legacy is cemented. It's a collector's item, often selling for well above its original price. One is a permanent ambassador, orbiting the sun with a starman at the wheel on a billion-year journey. But its truest legacy is being the minimum viable proof. It answered every skeptic's question with a resounding yes. Yes, an EV could be breathtakingly fast. Yes, it could have long range. Yes, it could be desirable. In doing so, it de-risked the idea of electric mobility for an entire industry. and paved the way for the trillion-dollar EV market we see today. In essence, the Tesla Roadster was the Big Bang, a small, dense, chaotic, and immensely powerful event from which our entire modern electric universe rapidly expanded. We know the Tesla Roadster as the car that started it all. But to truly understand its legend, we have to move past the standard history and venture into the arcane details, the intense cult following, and the granular engineering that make this more than just a car. It's a story of obsession, both inside and outside the factory. Let's start deep within the machine itself. Take that revolutionary battery pack. Those weren't just generic laptop cells. They were a specific, high-power variant from Panasonic, originally meant for power tools. Tesla's team, led by J.B. Straubel, had to convince Panasonic to scale production to a level never before seen. And to keep them from melting, they crafted a masterpiece of packaging. Each of the 11 battery sheets had its own aluminum cooling tube, snaking between the cells and bonded by hand with a special epoxy. All of this was controlled from a sealed, liquid-cooled vault at the front of the pack, nicknamed the Penthouse, accessible only to Tesla's most elite technicians. Then there was the brain of the operation, the Power Electronics Module, or PEM. This single, unsung box was the heart of the beast. It combined the motor controller, the DC-to-DC converter, and the onboard charger into one unit. And its secret weapon was software. The car's entire personality, its power curve, its regenerative braking feel, was defined by code in the PEM. That sport mode wasn't just flipping a switch. It was literally reflashing the car's nervous system to allow a higher surge of current. Of course, this pioneering machine had its character flaws. Owners learned to fear the 12-volt Vampire, a weak auxiliary battery that could completely brick the car if left unplugged. Getting in and out was an acrobatic ritual dubbed the Lotus Squeeze. And you'd better not have much luggage, because there was no glove box, just 2 tiny nostril bins behind you. Even its sounds were unique. A high-frequency whine from the PEM under acceleration and a subtle jet engine whir from its single-speed gearbox on the highway. But these very quirks forged one of the most devoted owner communities in automotive history. They gathered on the Tesla Motors Club forum, where engineers like Straubel and designer Franz von Holzhausen would post directly, creating an unheard-of dialogue. They competed on self-created, range leaderboards, hypermiling to extreme lengths, and with service centers scarce, a DIY ethos took root. Enthusiasts like a user named Engineer reverse-engineered the car's communication network, creating open-source apps for deep diagnostics. Today, a cottage industry exists to resurrect bricked roadsters, with specialists from Arizona to France swapping in modern Tesla drive units and batteries, a practice now known as Project Cyber Roadster. Behind the scenes, the Roadster's birth was a corporate spy novel. The bitter lawsuit with founder Martin Eberhard revealed internal chaos, like the disastrous 2-speed transmission. Tesla famously sued BBC's Top Gear after they staged the car running out of charge, revealing a fierce sensitivity to media portrayal. And the lawsuit against designer Henrik Fisker, whom they accused of stealing ideas for his rival Karma, exposed the cutthroat wars of the early EV startup world. Yet through all this, the Roadster proved itself not just on the street, but on the track. In 2010, a near-stock model set a Guinness World Record at the Nürburgring, covering over 1,700 miles in 24 hours on just 7 battery swaps, a stunning testament to durability. It birthed early EV racing series and even spawned a terrifying prototype called the Rocket Sled, a gutted 1,200 horsepower test mule that previewed Tesla's Plaid performance a decade early. Naturally, there were roads not taken, shadows of what could have been. A planned 4-door variant codenamed Raven, an ambitious battery swap program that was a technical success but a commercial flop, and a sleek facelift called Roadster 3.5 that was fully prototyped but killed when Lotus ended their partnership. So what's the prognosis for this pioneer? The data is astonishing. Of the roughly 2,450 built, over 2,000 are estimated to still be on the road. Those liquid-cooled batteries have aged gracefully, often losing only a fraction of their range over 15 years. And as original parts become rare, that Cyber Roadster Restomod movement is giving these cars a new lease on life with modern Tesla motors and massive batteries. Which brings us to the conclusion. The Tesla Roadster transcends being a mere car. It is a living, evolving prototype. Its story continues as a cultural icon orbiting the sun, as a collector's item appreciating in value, as a hacker's platform constantly being reborn, and as a ghost whose DNA lives on in every Tesla that follows. It was the spark that ignited the fire, and as engineers and enthusiasts continue to stoke its embers, its legacy isn't just historical, it's actively, brilliantly perpetual. From a sketch on a napkin to a car orbiting the sun, from a near bankruptcy to a trillion-dollar revolution, the Tesla Roadster was more than a car. It was a declaration, a signal flare that lit the way for everyone else to follow. It proved that the future didn't have to be a compromise. It could be faster, smarter, and more exhilarating. It taught us that to change the world, you sometimes have to build a rocket, or at least, a sports car that makes you feel like you're driving one. Final shot holds on the silhouette of the original Roadster, iconic against a twilight sky. So what's your take? Was the Roadster the most important car of the 21st century so far? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into where it all started, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories on the machines that changed everything. Thanks for watching. Until next time, keep looking forward.